10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Yeah, drum on there. Hey, here we go. Mayor T. Roy, and we are exploring with the mayor. Back down at my favorite spot in Pigeon Forge, Patriot Park. Been talking with a few friends, and I got a buddy of mine that's got a pretty interesting life. And, well, I said, what about it? And we've been trying now for about a week and a half to get our schedules to match. He's either got things going on because he's busy, or I've got things that pop up. Hard to be in the same spot at the same time. But guess what? Today, we did it. So, with that being said, get ready because we're about to go on an adventure you ain't gonna forget. We'll be right back. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, exploring with the mayor, back at Patriot Park, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, and I have my good friend, Jim Eastin. Jim, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor. How are you?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Today is a day. Woo!
It is a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. We finally get a chance to get together.
Yep.
This man is amazing. I'm just going to tell you now. He is amazing. This man is a retired preacher. And that right there is probably 100 years of stories by itself. But yet this man performs weddings. He hitches people on a daily basis. How many do you do on a normal, typical day?
Oh God! Well, I can't really judge it by the day, but about 200 a year. It's
200
a business
folks.
I never intended to be in.
So how did that? You're a retired preacher, but how did marrying folks? I mean, I understand everybody wants to come down here and take the plunge,
Right.
but how did you even enter that?
Well, I'll tell you. So one of my hobbies is photography. My dad was an artist. We could talk about that for an hour or two, but he used photography in his work because people can't always be there to sit for their portraits.
Right.
So I learned photography early, and when I retired and came back here, you know, the mountains are beautiful. You want to go out and take pictures of them. And I kept meeting photographers, and as soon as we'd start up a conversation, and they'd find out I was a retired preacher, they'd say, "My guy's sick, can you do a wedding for me?" So what started out as just a once-in-a-while thing, now I've got like 8 photographers that I work with, and 3 or 4 resorts call me, and then people find me through Facebook and the internet. And like I said, I never intended to do this, but you know what the great thing is? One of my photographer friends, I said, I don't really want to be in the wedding business. I don't want to just churn out weddings. And he said, Jim, somebody's going to do these, and you want to get them in a church. So I'd rather you be the one than somebody else. And I thought, well, all right, so that's a good idea. And so I do my very best to follow up with people, try to find them a local church to get involved with, try to give them something to hang on to so that on those rough days of their marriage, they can look forward to that 10-year anniversary, that 20-year anniversary. So anyway, that's how I got in it. Never planned to.
Ministry, that's what that's called. That's called ministry right there. You do a service, and that service never ends. You keep giving outlets to keep going. That's perfect. That's perfect. Now, 200 a year is crazy. But, like he said, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it all out. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's when I first started this, I never expected to be where we're at now. You know, we started out with one story, Now we're out to a book. The second book is almost ready to go. We're working on this show. We're working on The Simple Life. We got other things going on. The home office is working on booking a tour where we do stand-up.
Yeah, the same thing happened to you. You never intended to be in
No,
this.
you know,
and then it just blows up.
Having over 7,000 fans, and every day these people tell you what you're doing for them and what you're helping them with, and I am one that I was probably in my late 30s, maybe mid 30s, late 30s, before I ever realized who my grandfather voted for. You know, it's just something he never talked about. You didn't ask, you didn't, and that's kind of the way I write today. I don't care who you vote for. Don't want you in my private life, but when I'm Mayor T. Roy and we're talking and we're doing things, everybody can smile. Everybody has a common goal of enjoying life.
Exactly.
So take all that other stuff out, forget about it, throw it out the window, and just smile. It's contagious. Because I'll tell you, I've never seen this man frown. And I've seen him be tested a couple of times by somebody we both have in common. I've seen him test him, but he never quit smiling, which is great. But he also has another gig. Like he ain't 200 weddings a year ain't enough to do. He is. Are you one of the founders, or are you?
No, I'm not one of the founders, but I'm the current president of the Smoky Mountain Storytellers Association. And it's been around now, I think, for about 30 years. And we have a wonderful group of storytellers, about 40 storytellers. They do all kinds of different things. Some of them specialize in fairy tales, family stories, mountain stories, tall tales, and wonderful, wonderful people. And we have gigs that we do every week. So, for example, at 3 of the resorts, I tell at 3 of the resorts every week. And then we're at places in Maryville, places in Knoxville, places in Sevier County. And we meet once a month on the second Sunday of the month. And we go to a retirement home and tell stories there for those people, and then have a business meeting. We're doing ministry, yeah. And but just wonderful people, wonderful stories. And we invite everybody who wants to know about us. We have a website called SmokyMountainTellers.org, and would love for you to come visit us there. And we have members from all over the country, so if you'd like to join, we'd love to have you.
Think about that. Storytelling. We got caught a little bit in
yes,
common.
we do. We have that in common.
I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I just last week told you about visiting nursing homes, taking an hour of your time and go visit. The week before we talked about donating your time to something. Go to the library. See what they got. They got programs. Volunteer your time. Help something. Help children. Help the future. Take the time and do something like that. But we're going to get into this storytelling thing.
All right.
All right. I know you, on top of all these weddings, are a busy man, but yet, how long do your stories last on the nights you're at the resorts?
I usually do about a 40-minute set, and in that set I'll usually do 3 or 4 stories. It depends a little bit on who's there. If it's all adults, like this time of year, it's mostly adults because the kids are in school.
Right.
I'll tell stories that are more geared toward the adults. And then in the summer when I have lots of little children, I tell a lot of fairy tales and tales that, have a lot of excitement, a lot of movement and motion in them. And I tell some stories that relate to what's happened here. For example, I've got a story I tell about how my brother and I nearly burned down Biloxi, Mississippi. That's a true story. And then I relate that to the fires that we had here in Gatlinburg a couple of years ago. So a lot of things like that.
You and your brother...
I'm telling you, that's the Scout's honor.
Holy moly. Biloxi, we're sorry.
We've apologized to Biloxi many times.
The Eastin boys, I'm sure, have probably been banned from Biloxi. But don't hold it all against all of us.
That's right. It was just us. It was just my brother and me.
Oh my! I don't even know how to take that. I don't think I've ever had a guess that I about burned down a whole city.
Well, we weren't convicted of arson or anything. We were only 6 and 5. But anyway, the point is, you gear your stories toward who your audience is.
You started out way early. Holy cow! I was an angel at 5 and 6. And right now, Mama.
I can see your mother rolling her eyes over there.
Yeah, but don't pay no attention to her. I think it's the sun in her eyes. I've been a perfect angel most of my life. I've had these opportunities. Why are you looking at me like that, Possum? Possum can't even. Never mind. We just won't even go there because it's a beautiful day. I'm sitting with a great guy, and I'm not going to tell no lies. I might have caused just a little bit of trouble.
And while we're at it, we got a place to pause. I notice on that cap it says 1st Infantry Division. Today is Armistice Day, Veterans Day, so we need to thank the cameraman for being willing to serve to defend us.
You know, me and old Possum, we've had a lot of fun and we've done some crazy stuff together. And the one thing that I will tell you, there is not one person you're going to find that loves his country, loves God, and loves country life any more than Possum Forbes. And it's amazing just to hear. And he's a retired railroad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So the railroad stories, he's got enough to fill 30 books, but some of them probably would have to have a big R rating on some of them. You know, so we get to laughing because they just don't stop. You know, and once you get him rolling, it doesn't stop.
I need to get him. I'll recruit him for the Storytellers Club.
That would be one. That would be perfect. That would be really great because I tell you, he is one of a kind. And we thank every veteran that took that oath and signed a check that they knew what, if they had to cash it, what it meant. And I don't care what anybody says, is if you don't feel that in your heart for the veterans, you don't belong in this country. Because that's what life is about. You got young men and women that are signing up for a job there's no guarantees that they're coming home to for your freedoms. And that's the ultimate sacrifice in life. And I thank every one of you. I know Mr. Eastin does too. My grandfather, he was a member. I have a lot of relatives that were, a lot of friends on Facebook. I know you all there. A big shout out to my buddy in Tennessee, Jimmy Chambers. I know you are. We've sat and talked many stories. It's just, everybody's got somebody in your family that's touched you being a veteran. Somebody's wrote that check. And I hope they didn't have to cash it and they all come home to you safely. But if they didn't, they're still in our hearts, and we thank you. So, my crew is telling me we're going to take a break and get the advertisers all paid up. Them sponsors are what makes the money. We'll be right back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
It was playing when we danced on that hot August night when you kissed me. And it was playing in my room when you told me on the phone that you missed me. It was just young love and it had to end. But now I wanna feel
over to play. Gotta come check this out.
See it. See it.
I love Little Miss.
Sponsors, we love you all. You know the facts. If you wanted to sponsor this show, get a hold of me, get a hold of Cecil over at Mountain Bear Media. We'll take care of you. Nobody can match what we do for our sponsors. Nobody. And the price is affordable because we don't want the big money. We want the little money a lot of times.
Okay, that'll work.
You know, some of these places are $1,000 a month to be a sponsor. Mountain Bear Media, we'll do it for $30. And, you know, you get to hang out with me sometimes. That right there is worth the price of admission. $1,000 and ain't nobody coming to visit you from the big boys. They just going to cash your check every month. But we're sitting here with Jim Eastin today, my buddy, my pal. He's a storyteller for the Smoky Mountain Storytellers Association, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful group. If you get a chance, they got a Facebook page. Go check them out on Facebook. Like them, love them. Tell them the mayor sent you. Tell them the mayor sent you. Now, I know you do 3 resorts locally.
Right.
Every
Actually,
week.
Right. Actually, I've just started a 4th one, but so I'm at Treetops Resort in Gatlinburg. I'm at the Great Smokies Lodge up here in Sevierville. I'm at a beautiful place called Under Canvas where they do the glamping, and that's here. And then there is a great RV resort just almost next door to where we are, where I am. It's kind of an irregular dates. They bring me in for special stuff. I probably shouldn't have even mentioned those. Sorry about that, because those are not things that friends can come and visit me at. But we, as a storytelling group, we tell at Barley's Restaurant over in Maryville, Tennessee. We're every second Sunday of the month at the Asbury Retirement Home in Maryville. The point is, if you ever want to know where we are, just go to SmokyMountainTellers.org and you can look up the schedule. If you're interested in anything I do, it's JimEastin.net. And you spell Eastin, E-A-S-T-I-N, JimEastin.net. And that'll get you to all the stuff we're doing.
Wonderful, wonderful. And if you want to get a hold of me, hey! That's all you got to do. Just holler at me. Daggum. You are an amazing man. I really are. And
Thanks, man.
I had a friend of mine that I was talking to the other night, and they were asking me about shows that I got coming up, and I mentioned that I was going to sit and talk with you, a storyteller, and they wanted to know if you ever go to the Johnson City over in that area. They have a big festival of storytellers.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's Jonesboro is what you're thinking
okay.
of. Jonesboro is the National Storytelling Festival, and it is fabulous. If you've never been, go. It's always the first weekend in October. And these are the top-notch storytellers, the best in the world, and they have huge tents and 1,000 people in a tent listening, and so it's a fabulous event.
That's right there. You go, Jonesboro, Tennessee, first weekend in October. Make plans. Make plans. You want to come down here and look at all the pretty fall leaves that we didn't have this year in October because summer refused to go away.
Although I'll tell you, we're looking at some pretty beautiful colors right here.
Yes, we are.
Your guests can't see them because there's a field behind us, but there's beautiful, beautiful leaves in front of us.
They got the lights going up like crazy. And they've been started just since August. They've been putting lights all over town and doing things. I believe it's the 23rd or something that everybody's supposed to light up around here.
Winterfest, yeah.
Dolly's already got her event going. I think it started the 9th. Was her first day. Her Christmas program's going. Everything's going great. All the local shows. Hatfield, McCoy, there's a shout out. There's Comedy Barn,
Smoky Mountain
Opry, the
Stampede.
Stampede, the Pirate Show. They're all transformed into their Christmas shows. Now's your chance. Come on down, get your ticket, go watch the show, and I guarantee you, you'll walk out of every one of them with a big smile.
Yep.
If you go to Hatfield and McCoy, you're eating, and you go to the Stampede, you're eating. Can't beat that.
And the Murder Mystery Dinner Show.
Yes.
They'll
Do they do a Christmas
They
one?
do a Christmas show. And
There
they've got
you
a great
go.
meal there, too.
Then you've got Country Tonight. They've got things going on. Motown, Memories. There's so much stuff to do down here. You can't pack it all in one visit. So that means you're going to have to come back again. And then you're going to have to come back again because then it's in your blood. That's why we're all here in the mountains. It's in your blood. So you and me have a lot in common.
Mm-hmm.
You tell true stories,
Yes.
and a lot of your true stories are based on your family.
Right.
So while we're sitting here today, how about you kind of give us a little synopsis of one of your true stories about one of your family members? You got one that's kind of close to your heart?
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially, it's November. I don't know when people are going to see this, but, you know, we're coming up on Thanksgiving. And it always makes me think about home and my grandmother. I had two wonderful grandmothers, but one of them we called Mama Grace. And I don't have time to tell this whole story, but I'll kind of give you a little flavor of the kind of person she is. My grandmother's name was Grace. Now, if you have a name like Joe or Sue, you don't really have to live up to anything. But if you have a name like Grace, you're going to have to live up to that. And she always did. When we were little boys, we loved to go visit at Mama Grace's because Mama Grace welcomed us like we were the most important children in the world. And our family would go, and of course, after just a little while, my mother and father, they would go on. We didn't understand it as children, but they needed about a 2-week break from us every year. And so as soon as they left, my Mama Grace would take us in the living room. And she'd point to a picture on the wall. Perhaps you've seen it. It was of a man in a white robe, and he had kind of long, greasy hair, and he was holding a lamb in his arms. And she would say, "Now, boys, do you know who that is?" And we'd say, "Yes, ma'am, that's Jesus." And she'd say, "You're right, it is. But that isn't a very good picture of him. So tomorrow morning, your Papa Dodd is going to drive you into town and get you a crew cut, just like Jesus had." Staying at Mama Grace's was different than staying at home because of what happened in the morning. See, we were city boys, which meant we would stay up as late as we could, and getting up in the morning usually involved my mother yelling, "You better get up right now or you're going to be late for school." And breakfast was eating out of a bowl while you were trying to get to the school bus. But at Mama Grace's, you went to bed as soon as it got dark. And in the morning, there was nobody yelling at you to wake up. You'd wake up dreaming. You'd wake up dreaming about pancakes and sausage and gravy. And then you'd open your eyes and you realized you weren't dreaming. And you'd walk into that kitchen rubbing your eyes and realize she was cooking everything you could think of for breakfast. And out the window, the stars were still shining. We called it night breakfast because we didn't know people were supposed to get up that early. So anyway, that's the way I tell a yarn, kind of like that.
Well, that's good. See, folks, I will tell you this. I love to laugh and joke. But every chance you get, pass a story like that on to somebody,
Yes.
to your younger generation. Build their family history. During the break, you didn't get a chance to see it, but I told Jim a funny story about me and my grandpa, and I miss him every day. If he was here right now, I guarantee you he would be laughing, and he would try to top his story about breakfast, because that's just the way my papa was. He was special, and he taught me a lot about the business world and how to barter. People don't barter no more.
Right. And you know, the other thing is, I've got two little great nephews, one who's 8 and one who's 6. And a few years ago, they came to an event, and I changed my format so I could tell them that Mama Grace story, because they have no recollection of her. They had only seen a photo of her. They have no idea who she was. And it is through those stories that you learn who your grandparents were, who your aunts and uncles were, where your people came from. If you don't pass those stories down, you start from scratch every generation. So it really is important that you retell these family stories on and on and on and pass them down so that somebody later can say, I wasn't there, but let me tell you what they told me about your great-great-grandmother. That's how those stories get passed along.
Preserving history. That's what you're doing. Preserving history. It ain't hard. Everybody's got it. Every single person I know's got history. Some of us...
If not, go out and make some.
Come and see me. I'll give you some. We'll go out and we'll make history. Dadgum, we'll go to Wally Mart. You know, folks, how Wally Mart loves me. I walk in the door, Code Mayor, run, find him. I ain't scared of Wally Mart, but we'll go in and make some history. We'll take the camera. We might be under a lifetime ban in all Wally Marts, but dadgum, we're gonna have a good time doing it. So with this, your busy schedule, your weddings, your retired preacher,
yeah,
which everybody knows I got buddies that are preachers, and I thank the world of them. A big shout out to one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Mike Hawkins. He's a preacher in Bedford, Indiana, 39th Street Church. If you're in Indiana, I know I got a lot of followers up there. Go check out Mike Hawkins and 39th Street Church. Great church to go to. One thing before we go.
All right.
Words of wisdom from a storyteller, a marrying man, and a retired preacher. If you could pass one message on to the world that just strikes your heart, what would that one message be?
Well, I can tell you, but you will know immediately who I stole it from.
Okay, that's fine.
Love God with all your heart and soul and mind and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. You do that, and you've taken care of all the rules anybody could possibly give.
Right there, folks. I mean,
I quote the best.
there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I have said and done a few things in my life. You know, I've mentored over 3,500 children through youth sports. I coached football for 24 years. I love the children. Mm-hmm. And I feel today that we don't invest enough time in the children. And a lot of that's not the parents' fault necessarily, because now we have to have everybody working as many hours as they can. It's not the same world we live in. But just because it's not the same world we live in, does that mean we have to change the principles of what life is about? You can't do that. And when you sacrifice your principles, you give up everything that you stand for. And you can't. I'm not a preacher. I'm a dumb hillbilly. But y'all seem to like it because you keep coming back for more. This man, his life is dedicated to making things better. You know, I got married one time by an auctioneer. Best one, because it was like, do you, all in, all done, said and done, here we go, you're married, bye. Boom. It was done. Auctioneers should marry people. Auctioneer. Oh, I'm an auctioneer too. I'm a licensed auctioneer. Dadgum, we might have something here. Folks, I have enjoyed today with my friend, Jim Eastin. Remember, the links are going to be at the end of the video. Make sure you go check him out. Smoky Mountain Storytellers Association on Facebook. You can find Jim Eastin on Facebook. If he doesn't get back with you within 5 minutes, it doesn't mean he doesn't care. He's giving somebody a wedding, a story, or he's probably trying to take a nap. Because I'm going to tell you what, the man got to be tired. Because I about went to sleep right there when he's talking about 200 weddings a year, thinking about all the driving he's doing. They don't come to him, he goes to them. That's crazy. But I am proud to call you my friend.
Thank you, sir.
And I'll tell you what, one of these second Sundays, we're going to get together, and we're going to go back, and wherever they're at, we're going to record a session of all the storytellers, and maybe get them all to sit down and say hey to you, and what their specialties are, because I really believe in this association, and I think it's a wonderful association, and we'll help promote that.
Great.
if that works for you, my friend.
It does. Thank you, sir.
We appreciate you. Here again, exploring with the mayor. You never know what kind of curveball I'm going to throw at you. What's coming up next? Well, I can tell you, it involves Gatlinburg. You don't want to miss it. Until next time, I'm Mayor T. Roy, and this is Exploring with the Mayor. God bless.
It's been a long, hard road, and the battle has just begun. I'll never give up until all is said and done. I'm gonna face my fears, not gonna run away and hide, 'cause I'm a fighter. I'm gonna take that one last ride, one last ride, until my journey ends. Just enjoy life today with my family and friends. One last ride, that's all I'm asking for, until my time is up and I knock on heaven's door. Hasn't been easy, and I faced a cold dark nights, not knowing whether I'll see the morning light. Eventually, I know I'm gonna die. Until I do, I'm gonna take that one last ride, one last ride, until my journey ends. Just enjoy life today with my family and friends. One last ride, that's all I'm asking for, until my time is up and I knock on heaven's door. One last ride, until my journey ends. Then the time is up and I knock on heaven's door. One last ride, it's all I'm asking for. One last ride.